Hey everybody, I'm Sierra.
And I'm Ben.
And welcome back to another episode of The Unsolved Couple, where every week Ben and I recap one of your original gateway drugs into true crime.
Unsolved mysteries.
We're good?
All right.
Yep.
Great intro.
Thank you.
You did wonderful.
So did you.
It was perfect. It was perfect in every way. That's just how it should go every time.
I've officially had 51 weeks of practice because next week is our 1-year anniversary.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it next week?
Yeah,
I guess
next week.
Yeah.
Don't take away the podcast magic. It's next week.
All right.
Okay.
I'm excited for you. I'm happy for you.
Excited for me?
Yes, for you. Absolutely.
Are you still being held against your will?
No. But this is your baby. This was, let's just be honest. This entire idea, all of this was Sierra. And on top of it, she does practically all the work. I don't really. I literally just show up.
Looking handsome.
Yeah, she does. You run all the equipment. You do all the editing.
Mm-hmm.
You do all the marketing.
Yeah.
And I literally just show up and talk into a microphone. I am what's a prima donna? Is that the right word?
You're giving main character energy. Is that what the kids say? Yeah.
I'm the guy that just goes and sits in his trailer and says, "Tell me when my scene is ready."
No one else talk or look to him or look at him or talk to him.
Yeah. Just bring me my filtered water. So I'm excited for you. You've worked really hard.
Thank you. So then you don't get to complain that for our 1-year celebration, we're actually going to take a break from Unsolved Mysteries, the show, just for a few weeks. And we're going to do a 2 or 3 part series on the Amy Bradley documentary on Netflix.
I think we could cover it in one episode.
You think so?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
It is just one story. Though.
Yeah, but it might just be a little bit longer if we're going to recap it and break it down, the interviews and the theories and different things like that. But we'll see. I wanted to do this as a thank you to our patrons, because if literally these people were not downloading this and listening and following us and all that stuff, there'd be no point in keep doing this. So it's just thank you to everybody. So be expecting that next week as a thank you. And according to Ben, we're going to bust it out in 1 episode. I'm saying 2 to 3 parts, but we'll see.
So is this the last Unsolved Mysteries I have to watch?
No, just for one.
This is great because I need a break, because this episode, I had such a hard time just getting it done. I didn't want to do it. You weren't
feeling it?
I just did not want to do it. It had nothing actually to do with the stories in this episode. I just did not want to do it. Every time I sat down
when you are writing and being creative, you have to be in the mindset to do it, or it just doesn't work.
Every time I sat down to do my notes, I just got angry. I just didn't want to do it. But I did it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm here.
Okay. Well, I'm giving you a week or 2 off.
Oh, that's great. That's the best news I've heard all day.
But you have to watch the Amy Bradley doc, and then we're going to get right back into Unsolved Mysteries.
Right back into it.
I mean, that's what the people are here for.
Are they?
Yeah. So speaking of that, Ben is reluctantly, but I'm excited. I actually had no problem taking my notes or anything at all like that.
It was an interesting episode.
Yeah.
I'm not even trying to speak ill of the episode.
I think it had less to do with the podcast and more to do with the fact that life is a little kind of busy right now. We got 1,000 other things going on, and people don't understand. Even Ben just showed up. This does take hours of investment and time and energy.
It's not just an hour. I think everyone does.
Yeah.
Everyone understands
so to find the time for it sometimes when all you want to do, and it's baseball season. So let's be honest, all Ben wants to be doing right now is either reading about baseball, watching baseball, or listening about baseball.
I am not complaining that I have it hard here. Okay. I'm literally just sitting in a microphone. There was just so many other things I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And yes, baseball is one. I love the season, and
you wanted to go paddleboarding today, and I had to be like, Ben,
first, yeah. Okay.
We have to get this episode
I did want to go to the lake. We got several more paddle boards. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to get down there and enjoy the sun.
It is something we enjoy doing. Yeah.
And,
and I had to.
And that seems like such a better idea. And I'm telling you all right now, if you have the ability, pause this.
So we're actually just going to turn this off and we're going to load up the paddle boards and go. We'll be back next week.
Let's go.
No, we're going to recap season 3, episode 8. We only have 3 stories. And I'm going to kick us off with a very interesting story that I was expecting to get a ton more information from, but we're going to find out there wasn't a trial. So,
you're going to start us out with that one? This is the hardest. This is the hardest story.
Yeah, let's get this story out of the way because this is a harder story. It's pretty dark. So, Raymond and Ruth Ann Ritter, which I love that there is a Raymond Ruth Ritter. That's the husband and wife. They lived in Woodstock, Illinois, which is a suburb of Chicago. They were married in 1968 and welcomed 3 children into their home. Colleen, the oldest, Steve, and Matthew. They were very close and happy. Colleen started dating a family friend in high school. Okay, so they live in this area. They go to the local high school. They are involved in their church as a family. They're a very close family. And they had been family friends with the Church family for a while.
But their last name is Church?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Church family and the Ritter family have known each other for years. And Colleen starts dating the son, Richard.
Bad idea.
Well, Ben no one should date ever in high school.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's only because we have teenagers now.
Absolutely.
So these 2 are both students at the local Catholic high school. She's a sophomore. He's a senior. Tale as old as time. They date for over a year. And then what happens? Happens at the end of your senior year.
He goes on to college.
He has to go off to college. I'm pretty sure there's even a song called like Strawberry Wine that's kind of about this that's about a summer romance. And I think he's older.
Way different.
Way different.
Way different.
Scratch that. But Taylor's old as time, right? She's a year younger. So she stays at home, obviously, to start her senior year. And Richard.
Senior or junior? Because she was dating.
Oh, she was a sophomore and he was a senior. So in America, it's freshman, sophomore, junior, senior.
So they're 2 years apart.
I had it in my mind for some reason that she was only a year younger than him. Even though in my notes it says otherwise. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Ben. So she's getting ready to kick off her junior year and he's headed off to college. That makes me uncomfortable. The age gap there is a lot.
Well, but sophomore year, you're 16.
No, I understand theoretically the age gap is normal, but there is a line that crosses when you leave high school.
And here's the thing, she's now in high school. She wants to be in high school.
And Richard should want to go to college and be a boy and living away from home and enjoy college.
You know this is coming.
Yeah.
It should be coming.
It should be.
The breakup. It's
happening. Yeah. However, so their relationship starts to, as one would, become strained. Right on track. Richard, though, does not take this well.
And Interesting.
He would call Colleen from his dorm room, upset and edgy, non-stop. When she said that she was doing homework, studying for a test, or had other activities going on as one girl would in high school, because the other thing I read, this wasn't on Unsolved Mysteries, she was a cheerleader and he was a football player. They were both very popular, very good looking, all American. So she is social. She has other things to be doing. He would get upset with her. And in June of 1988, he comes home from school. So they date. That's maybe where I think I got this from. They date that whole year.
Well, he's in college.
While he's in college, and she's a junior. However, at the start of the summer, June 1988, he comes home from school. He finds out, unfortunately, that while he's been away at college, his parents have separated and are filing for divorce. Okay, fair? That's hard. That's not easy.
That rocks your world.
That rocks your world. And then Colleen at that point also breaks up with him. And
says, listen, I'm not going into my senior year.
Yeah. And she says, like, you've become possessive. You are controlling.
It's not a healthy relationship.
It's not a healthy relationship anymore. And from my understanding, too, in my side research, she had talked to her parents extensively about this, and they had supported her in this because she cared for him, but it was not healthy. And you know what? There's a lot of girls and a lot of guys, like, people don't recognize these warning signs in relationships. And she did not want to be in a toxic relationship. So she had every right to say, I don't want to be in this anymore.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah. So, and she's open and canon with them. However, she, as most women do and most girls do, is happy to remain friends with him if he can respect those boundaries.
Let's just be friends. And that never goes well.
I think the person saying that always has the best of intentions, because she said in her... So this is what's wild, guys. She's full on interviewed on Unsolved Mysteries.
She sure is.
Yeah, and you're going to find out later that that's even crazier. But she explains to us they had grown up together, that they'd been friends for since elementary school, before they became boyfriend and girlfriend. And she's like, I just wanted to set the reset button. And I think she was willing to do that. We're going to find out later, though, he wasn't. The calls continue.
Did you ever date a friend and it not work out and you guys then stay friends?
I never dated any of my guy friends. Might have kissed a few of them.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. But no. Here's the thing. In growing up, I had a big group of guy friends, even from elementary school on, who still to this day I consider friends, and I never dated any of them. Every guy I dated in school I had met outside of that friendship circle, and it became that. I love having guy friends, but I think I was surprised as I got older that became more complicated than I expected it to.
Always does.
It always does. And it sucks because you and I've had this conversation before too, but no, I don't think that anyone I ever dated, I stayed friends with. No one that I talked to, or even, I wish them all well, but no. What about you?
Yeah. We were friends for a couple years in high school.
Yeah.
Decided to.
Had you always had a crush on her, though, secretly? Oh, interesting.
No, she was just a friend. And then we decided, hey, let's try this.
Let's see if this can be more.
It lasted 3 weeks, and both her and I said, you know what? Is the only time we both were like, we're better friends. We broke up and we stayed friends.
Really?
Yeah. But I just think,
did it feel a little uncomfortable being
no.
her girl, as far as when you were dating her, did it feel more uncomfortable dating her? Yeah, you were like, this feels like I'm dating
for both of us. I just think that we both were.
I love you dearly, but only in the friendship.
Yeah, it literally lasted 2 to 3 weeks tops, and we both were like, this We're just better friends.
And then it went on with no problems.
And we went on. And
but
we
again,
were friends.
that was a few weeks. It wasn't 2 years.
Yes, this is very different.
Yeah.
It was not years on end. It just.
Did you ever stay friends with any of your serious relationships? No. And it's funny because Ben and I started dating in our early 20s and were married by the time we were 22?
22.
Yeah. So it's not like there's a laundry list. I don't know what it's like to I guess date in adulthood. Maybe it's different, but anyways, so fast forward to the end of summer. So we're at the end of summer, August 20th, 1988. Colleen is happily in this place where every once in a while she's taking these phone calls. She's still friends with him, but has no desire to still be in a relationship with him. She's happy with her choices. So August 20th, 1988, Colleen has a friend staying the night, as did her little brother, Matthew. Raymond and Ruth Ann were out with some friends. So typical summer night in the 80s. We got the older sister babysitting. She's got a girlfriend over for a sleepover. Little brother's home.
How old is he?
I think he's 7 or 8 at the time.
Oh, so there's
he's
quite a
young. Yeah.
I mean, it's like 10 years difference.
Yeah, he's the caboose baby for sure. Yeah. And Steve, the older brother, is away. Actually, he might be the oldest. I can't remember. He's not at home at all and not planning on coming home. So Richard, ex-boyfriend, calls Colleen and asks what she's doing.
What are you doing?
And again, starts acting possessive. He's getting mad that she doesn't want to sit on the phone for hours on end and have a conversation with him. So she tells him, listen, I am doing stuff. I'm hanging out. I do not want to talk to you. I will call you later. And lets him go. Not really suspecting this is run-of-the-mill behavior from this kid. 5:15 the following morning, Richard breaks in to the home, the family home, and goes on to brutally attack every member of this family. First going into the parents' bedroom, which is on the ground floor, and stabs them multiple times, killing them both. Next, he goes upstairs and stabs the little brother, Matthew, twice in the hallway, leaving him for dead.
Golly. Were the friends gone?
No. So Colleen awakes and sees her ex-boyfriend standing in the hallway. Can you even imagine?
No. This is terrible.
Now, mind you, guys, she's interviewed.
Yeah, she's telling us this story.
Yeah.
It is wild.
So she runs into another bedroom and calls 911. However, while she's trying to call 911, he breaks down the door and begins to stab her multiple times. So she lays down on a cedar chest of at the end of a bed and starts to play dead, hoping that he'll stop. She's recounting this, and he continues to stab her over and over and over again. She starts begging him and pleading him. She's like, I love you. Why are you doing this? She's says in the interview, she's saying and doing whatever she can to get through to him, to get him to stop. So finally, where she finds the strength for this, I do not know. She realizes he's not going to quit until I'm dead. She somehow manages to run down the stairs, run outside, and is screaming as she's running down the road until neighbors come out. And he is continuing to follow her and try to assault her. 2 neighbors finally come out because they hear it's 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Some girl screaming bloody murder, literally, and come running out and run Richard off. And mind you, at this time, while this is going on, Matthew, the 7 or 8-year-old boy, has been able to drag himself into the room, call 911, and give his address to the dispatcher.
Wild.
Is it so crazy?
Wild.
So, because of that, the police had already been notified and were on their way. They arrived within seconds after the neighbors had come out onto the street. A neighbor believes that he had actually seen Richard run back into the family home. So the police officers go in, like guns drawn, trying to figure out. They think that there is a active murderer in the home.
Yeah.
So searching the scene, they find Matthew injured upstairs. He's with his friend now, who is completely unharmed. And Colleen's friend was also found hiding somewhere in the house unharmed. Unfortunately, the parents, Raymond and Ruth Ann, are pronounced dead at the scene.
That is crazy.
I know. At the same time, boyfriend Richard has now ran 12 blocks home and packs his belongings. And by 5:45, so this is all taking place in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So in 30 minutes, he murders 2 people, stabs and attacks 2 others.
And then runs home.
He loads up into his mother's truck and vanishes. Authorities instantly start searching for him as doctors work to save Colleen and Matthew's lives. Matthew was treated and released the next day. However, Colleen had serious injuries. She had received a total of 20 stab wounds, mostly inflicted on the back of her head and neck.
That's wild.
How this girl lived
tell the tale
is like a miracle.
Yeah.
And not only lived, but ran out of the home.
Yeah.
So she's in ICU for several days. Unfortunately, and they never go into detail. I tried to find more about this. While she's in ICU, I don't know who made this call. They decide to bury her parents and have the funeral. She was unable to attend. They didn't wait for her to get out of the hospital.
It had to have been other family members, grandparents and stuff.
I know, but you would think that maybe, I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm not a grieving person, but it's hard because she's interviewed and that's one of the things that she struggles with is not only when you're going through a hard time, most people want their parents by their sides, but she didn't even get to like mourn and say goodbye to her parents. Yeah,
but at the same time, I'm going to guess. I'm throwing a guess out here. It's the grandparents that are showing up. You have 2 sets of grandparents here. They each are burying a child. And then on top of it, you have 2 grandkids that have been brutally attacked. Like your whole world has been flipped upside down.
Yeah.
And you're just trying to
check things off the list.
Put things back together for some people and for yourself. So
it just broke my heart as a mom. And this girl, when she's interviewed, this is shortly after.
Absolutely. And that's
just like poor baby.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's tough because I'm sure she wanted to be there. I just think it's a bad situation for everybody involved. And so I can't even imagine the decisions and the things that had to be made at that time.
Yeah. So fortunately, Colleen survives. As we can see, she's here interviewed. But Richard has yet to be brought to justice. His mother's truck that he had used to flee the scene had been abandoned in West Hollywood, California. We kind of get a description of him.
He drove all the way across the country.
Yeah, this was Illinois. Mm-hmm.
To
Illinois.
California.
Yeah, to California. And they're asking for the public's help to find this kid. So there you go.
To justice.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Update.
Solved. After 3 years on the run, Richard was arrested in a fast food restaurant in Salt Lake City, November 1991. A detective had recognized him from the FBI Most Wanted poster, and he was living under an assumed name, Danny Lee Carson. In July 1992, he pled guilty to the murders to avoid the death penalty. As a result, he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, and he is still there to this day.
So a detective recognized him in a fast food place from the FBI.
How many times we've covered a few of these things, right? Where it's like local agents or local law enforcement is paying attention to the FBI's wanted list and the posters and the pictures and just kind of taking a snapshot of that in their mind. And
yeah. Well, there was that one, the girls.
The bank robbery.
Yeah.
With murder. Yeah.
And the FBI just talked to the Philly Police Department that morning.
They walked out and she was literally down the street.
And Caesar's like, and for this guy, it's one thing when these guys are on the run, because I've seen a lot of bolos.
Yeah.
And usually it's right after, hey, we're looking. Here's the vehicle. Here's the description. What's that?
Do they include photos? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
If they have a specific suspect, it's like, here it is. Mm-hmm. But I can't imagine it being.
You have to really, can you imagine if you saw something and then you're out and about working or grabbing lunch?
Yeah.
You walk into In-N-Out and you see someone and you're like, man, why does that person look familiar? To have the wherewithal as law enforcement to be like, why does that person look familiar? And to be able to put it together confidently enough, because that's the next thing is like, no one wants to arrest the wrong person. And this person's also dangerous.
Well, and you're trying to say, is my memory
correct?
And is this really the guy, or they just look
this
very
is 91
familiar?
too, so you don't have your smartphone on you to Google a person real quick.
And you're in Salt Lake, right? So the thing is, this guy's wanted here. He was seen here. What are the odds?
Yeah, he was seen in Illinois and California.
So you're sitting there thinking, is this him, or is it someone that just looks a lot like him?
Yeah.
I don't know. For me personally, I'd be questioning.
Yeah. So I tried to look too to see if there was any kind of like just how Colleen had maybe what she was doing. Curious. I didn't really find much about her. The only thing I found is that the house that they had lived in had obviously gotten kind of a bad rap.
Obviously.
It had gone through several different sales, foreclosures. It was finally basically foreclosed on and just been sitting abandoned. Habitat for Humanity has actually purchased the home. And I'm not sure. I should have looked at the date. They are currently or have finished recently redoing the home, remodeling it, and they're gifting it to a family in need. And the person who is gifting it was interviewed. They are aware of the history of the house. So they're excited. Habitat for Humanity here gives homes to families in need, even families sometimes that are struggling maybe with a debilitating disease of a child or of the parent. Yeah. It's a great program. And the person is so grateful to be able to kind of bring new life into this home and to be able to use it in this positive way to kind of make it a happy place again and to build good memories into it. So, yeah, there you guys go. That is, I had never heard of this story before. It's not covered on a lot of podcasts. And I think mainly because it's solved. It was featured on America's Most Wanted as well. And the person pled guilty. So there's not a lot of trial stuff to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah. So good job for all the people involved in bringing that guy to justice. Because that's just, you get broken up with. And yeah. So, all right, Ben, what do you have for us?
I'm pulling up my notes.
Okay, while Ben's pulling up his notes, I'll give you guys our little housekeeping plugs. Did you know that you can now support the Unsolved Couple?
I didn't. Tell me all about it.
When you sign up to support the show, there's 2 links below in the episode notes. There's
Say it ain't so.
One that says support the show.
What?
And then one that says buy me a coffee.
Who?
Please make sure to leave your name and your favorite 90s/2000 nostalgic memory or your favorite episode of Unsolved Mystery. And we will read it out loud here on the show. The other way you can support us is by following us on social media. It goes a long, long way to show your support for us. We are on TikTok, on Instagram, Unsolved Couple Pod. And last but not least, the very, very, very favoriteest thing you can do for us is to leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcast or wherever you do get your podcast. If you leave us a 5-star rating review or you recommend us to a friend or give us a shout out on social media, please take a screenshot of that and send it to me in a DM or email me at unsolvedcouplepod@gmail.com. And I will send you some free merch stickers that we have. Okay, Ben, what do you have for us?
Okay. The story of Amelia Earhart.
I love Amelia Earhart.
Yeah, she's great. All right. Who is she, Sarah?
She was a baddie because the world of aviation, still to this day, is very much a male-dominated field. Okay. But back then, for a woman to decide to get into aviations was like unheard of. So she was a pioneer in that way, one. And then two, she started breaking records left and right of just insane flights. So she became kind of just like American history in the world of like, especially during like women's rights movements and women's suffrage and all of that stuff, kind of just became something that women and girls of all ages could look up to.
Yep. First woman to fly across the Atlantic.
Mm-hmm.
So, and she was trying to be the first woman or person to fly around the world at its furthest point.
Equinox. Yeah, right? Is that
equinox?
Is that
equator?
Equator.
Equinox.
What is equinox on the earth? Is that anything, or did I just make that word up?
I don't. You probably did. I don't know. So she wanted to be the first woman to fly around the world at its largest point there around the equator. So
yeah,
she sets off to do that with a navigator called Fred Noonan.
Mm-hmm.
All right. They tell us she started in Oakland, California. All my research start her at Miami.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Because when they said on Unsolved Mysteries that she started in California and flew from Oakland to Tucson, and then headed south from there?
No, she flies all the way to Miami.
To Miami from Tucson. Or no, wherever. I was like, first off, we've lived here for 13 plus years now. I never in my life have seen a single thing that like Amelia Earhart stopped here. And I've never seen a single bit of history either that she started her flight in California.
Yeah. But, so, I mean, technically, to fly around the world, that part of it is you got to fly across the United States.
I understand that, but I guess I just was not aware of that part. Because, yeah, I believed the same thing. I thought that she had departed from the Southeast.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think for her flight around the world, we start considering it from Miami. But they tell us May 20th, 1937, she leaves Oakland. She flies here to Tucson and makes multiple stops.
Yeah.
Hits Miami. And then on June 1st from Miami. Dude, I've had a rough time lately. She starts her trek. And this goes on. I have a list of like where her route took her. But, you know, Miami to Puerto Rico, Brazil, then across to Africa, Sudan, India. And on June 29th, she makes it to Laos, New Guinea. And that's kind of the edge of that one. Now this is going to be her longest trek because now she's got to make it across the Pacific.
I just had a light bulb moment.
Okay.
So I don't think I've shared this with our friends yet, but for my entire life, until I just started teaching homeschool, I thought that the Bermuda Triangle was like east of like Africa, Asia, like that whole area between like Japan, the Marshall Islands, and Australia, right? That sort of open land. I think that the reason I thought that was because I believed in my mind that Amelia Earhart went missing in the Bermuda Triangle. And
that's where the legend started.
No. This is just like me. So embarrassing thing. Yeah. I literally, even though Bermuda is off Florida, like it's not lost on me how ridiculous that for some reason I thought the Bermuda Triangle was over there when it's several thousands of miles.
It's the exact opposite.
But I am having a light bulb moment that for some reason in my mind, I just assumed Amelia Earhart went missing in the Bermuda Triangle, and I knew the location of which she went missing was over there by the Marshall Islands.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where, because I'm always like, how did I get that in my mind? That makes no sense. But I remember for a while in like elementary school being fascinated with the missing of Amelia Earhart flight. Okay, sorry, that was like a whole like flash before my eyes moment that now I understand why my brain was short-circuiting. Okay, sorry, continue.
All right. So they tell us, they get some historians, people who have written about Amelia Earhart's disappearance. They spent a few days in Laos, New Guinea, and before they got to start this, it's a very dangerous trek all the way across the Pacific back to California, right? So they tell us July 2nd, they're supposed to leave the 1st, but there were some storms, so they held off for a day. So July 2nd, 10 a.m., boom.
So they've been traveling now for about a month before they take off for this. This was supposed to be like the longest trek.
They left California May 20th. That's what I've written down. And then they left June 1st from Miami.
So it's even,
It has been over a month to make this. Because I do think they were stopping in these places, refueling and resting. It's not like they stopped, refuel, and boom, went
But this was going to be one of their longest flights. This one's 18 hours, right?
This one's going to be their longest
without stopping.
Trek. Yeah. And so they're aiming for Howland Island is their next stop. It's an 18-hour flight from New Guinea. They tell us that Howland Island is 1.5 miles long and about 0.5 mile wide.
Crazy.
It is tiny.
It is a dot in the vastness of what the ocean is. Yeah.
So they have to be.
And the elevation is nothing.
They have to be precise in their navigation to get there.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's their target. They're going to stop there before then they start their trek. They finish their trek across the Pacific. So they leave 10 a.m. and they start. So a historian comes in and kind of tells us like, listen, radio communications was kind of Amelia Earhart's Achilles. She didn't always he says she didn't keep up on the technology of the radio.
It wasn't her thing. Yeah.
So
it was newer technology, wasn't it? So it wasn't really the first.
Well, and I think it's newer and it was changing.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. And
planes, I think the 30s planes are a new thing. So it's probably evolving quickly. I don't know. I'm throwing out guesses here. So the Coast Guard Itasca, there's a ship out there, is out in that area, and they are there to help with radio communications and that. So they say 17 hours and 14 minutes in, they get a radio bearing, or she asked for a radio bearing from her radio. So, because there's no GPS at this time, what she needed to do was hold her mic open for a while, and they would be able to
ping her
and then tell her where she's at. So she's asking for this radio bearing. She asks it and then whistles into the radio, but then she lets go. And they say she needed to hold that open for 30 seconds for them to be able to ping her and give her a location. And it appears that she's not hearing them because they're trying to tell her.
They can hear her,
yes,
but she cannot hear them.
She cannot hear them. And so they're not able to give her that radio bearing. So 19 hours in, they pretty much say they were supposed to see the island by this time. They're not seeing it. She's telling them, we don't see the island.
And you can tell in the recordings, panic is starting to set in a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and I'm sure exhaustion.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been flying for almost 19 hours.
Yeah, almost a full day.
Even being a passenger on a plane for 19 hours.
Yeah. And you have to pay attention to everything. And I bet your stress level is up you know that you've got this tiny little window and you're aiming for this tiny thing.
Yeah.
And if you miss it, that's bad news bears. All right.
Which I will say, and maybe this is jumping up, but I didn't realize this. They had emergency plans on the ship, emergency supplies and plans. And that was one thing I actually learned watching Unsolved Mysteries. Yeah.
So they said only once did she acknowledge that she could hear the Itasca. So they're trying to talk to her. She only once told them. And they did say it is possible she would use a radio and then turn it off, because on one of her flights, she ran out of battery, because these radios are battery powered. They're not even powered by the plane.
Yeah.
It's not.
So she's in the mindset,
plane.
I've got to conserve this battery energy.
I've got to conserve, because it's probably.
Because this is how I find the island.
Yeah. Well, and this is all I have to communicate. So I don't want to waste my battery. So 20 hours and 13 minutes into the flight, that's where they get her last transmission. She tells them, we don't see the island. We need help, a radio bearing. And then she says she's switching frequencies, and they're confused because that's not what you're supposed to do. And that's where they say they think some of her knowledge, maybe not her best knowledge in radio communication. I don't know. I'm not one to judge. It just reminds me
of anyone that's lost. They always tell people, like, if you get lost, like, you need to kind of stay where you were, like, last at. But people start panicking, and she's jumping around to different frequencies because she's starting to panic.
But she's also not hearing their communications.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say, they say that
it was a series of unfortunate events, it seems like.
They say that maybe her knowledge of radio frequencies might have been her downfall. I don't know about that. I have a hard time. You can say that, but that doesn't mean that it changes.
Radio frequencies also, weren't guaranteed to ever work at all the
time. But the technology was new, and maybe it just wasn't working.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, it's a disaster. That's her last transmission. And here's the thing. The Coast Guard, they start searching. Immediately that day. And they're looking for her. They searched a 250,000 square mile.
That's insane.
Around Howland Island.
Yeah.
And they searched for 16 days. Mm-hmm. That's a long time for a search. It used all types of planes and ships. It was not
a small effort.
No, they put in a massive effort. They do believe that if she'd run out of fuel, her plane would have at least floated for 4 or 5 hours. So that's why they started it immediately, trying to find that plane, because that is a way easier target to find than that. They said they had they had like a raft, a 2-person raft with supplies, water, food. So they do believe they could have survived for a while. But guess what? They were never.
But nothing was ever found.
Nothing was ever found.
Yeah.
So what happened to her? I don't know.
That's the mystery.
The official investigation was that they ran out of fuel and ditched in the sea somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Fast forward to July 1944, we get told a story by Sergeant Thomas Devine. He tells us he was a Marine stationed on Saipan. And him and another military guy they had taken a Jeep to a part of the island, and they get to a hangar. And they're told they can't go in. There's top secret. And he tells us he hears some other military guys talking. And they say, we got Amelia Earhart's plane in there. And he's like, what's going on? And then some secret government agent that's in plain clothes comes out, starts yelling at everybody and threatening everybody.
Get on out of here.
Him and his companion that are in the Jeep are like, dude, whatever, man. We're out of here. We drive off. And then he says later on, he sees this plane flying over. It's not a military plane because it doesn't have the markings, but he just happens to write down the tail number. And it is NR 16020, which
was Amelia Earhart's.
Was Amelia Earhart's. And then later that day, he rolls up. And guess what? This plane is on fire, just right there on the, field, just burning up.
Okay.
So did the government have their plane? Did the government end up finding the plane on Saigon after we had invaded? Because what's going on in 1944? World War II. We found it, and then we decided as a country, oh my gosh, no one can know. We can't let them know we found Amelia Earhart's plane. We got to burn it. This doesn't make any sense. It makes zero sense, and it almost kind of ticks me off.
Yeah.
You're telling me that the government found Amelia Earhart's plane on Saigon, and we decided, we're not telling people we found Amelia Earhart's plane.
What would be the reason for them not to tell people?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Why? Why would you want to then burn the plane and hide all the evidence that you found her plane?
Yeah.
Of what interest is that to the United States? Can you tell me?
And this is reaching. The only thing I can think of, and this makes almost no sense, is that at what point, because here's the thing, the history between
Saigon?
America.
I said Saigon. Saipan.
Sorry. Saigon is Vietnam, isn't it?
Yeah. Way different.
Way different.
Saipan.
So Japan and America for a long time had a really rocky relationship, obviously. I mean, so was it possible that in order to try to move forward with a positive relationship with Japan, the government was like, if American citizens, because Amelia Earhart was so beloved, find out that she washed ashore here accidentally or landed here at a time where things weren't good and had a hand in her demise, that's going to strain relationships even more. And we're in the middle of World War II. So we don't want, I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. This guy clearly, this happened to this guy. He saw a plane. There was something going on. But it is World War II.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And 1944, we are going from island to island. It is massive bloodshed in the war. So I'm just having a hard time. I don't know. It does not make sense that the government would find Amelia Earhart's plane and say, no
one can know about this. Let's burn it.
Why?
Yeah. I was more.
America wants to know what happened.
Yeah.
So anyways, then we get told a story by the name of Bob Wallach. He was also on Saipan. He was a Marine. He said they didn't have anything to do during the day. They've already conquered this island, whatever. They're going in, they're looking through old buildings and they find this safe. They blow it open. They start. That would be rummaging.
Me. I'd be like, you guys, let's open this up. Yeah.
They start rummaging. He gets a briefcase and he starts going through and it's a bunch of papers. And he says, it's Amelia Earhart's papers. He doesn't say what it is or what it says.
It just has something to do with her.
It has something to do with her. So he says he turned it in to someone above him.
I actually believe this Marine more than I believe the plane.
I believe the other Marine saw
what he did.
plane.
I just don't know if it was Amelia Earhart's plane.
Yeah, I'm just not buying it was Amelia Earhart's plane.
Or that the government orchestrated that fire.
Yeah. Here's the thing. It is war. For a plane to be burning, not uncommon.
Yeah.
So anyways, he says he turned it in. What happened to it? He doesn't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do. So then we get told by a story by the name of Buddy Brennan. He's a researcher and author. He says he met a Saipan woman in 1987 and interviewed her. She tells a story that she was on Saipan when the Japanese, they were occupying it at the time.
Yeah.
And two people were brought to the town square and they were stripped down and they were two what looked like Americans. And one of them was a female.
Yeah, which she was surprised by because she was wearing men's
trousers.
Pants. She was wearing pants just in general. And she never, I will say, the story to me tracks whether it was Amelia Earhart or not, makes sense in the fact that this was shocking to her to see a woman Wearing pants.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they made him strip down in the square. They yell at him. They put him in prison. Supposedly, I guess she saw them.
Execute, yeah.
Well, I'm a little amazed by how much this lady saw them. She said she saw them bring her rice in prison, and the lady threw the rice back at the prisoners. Where were you hanging out where you saw all of this? Then she just so happened to be walking through this field and a motorcycle comes. So she hides in this cornfield or this
rice field.
And then miraculously, she was right there where there was a grave dug. And she said she saw a lady be brought out and shot and executed.
Yeah.
And she was blindfolded.
But what happens next?
So she said she planted a little fruit tree there by the grave.
Yeah.
So she tells this story to Buddy. And in 1987, he gets the ability to excavate.
That is crazy.
There.
Here's me. You had to have some evidence in order to get this permission.
So,
but they only give
let him to excavate for 12 hours.
Which makes me think someone doesn't want things found.
But there was no remains found. All they did find was a piece of cloth that does appear to be
a blindfold. Yes. But I don't believe in a ton of coincidences all at the same time. That's a lot of coincidences.
Yeah. Anyway, so those are our three kind of theories that are presented by Unsolved Mysteries. I will say this. So that we get this other historian, this author, and he comes to tell us, he's like, listen, I don't believe any of those stories. I do believe the official investigation is she
lost at sea,
ran out. And he goes, the U.S. nautical charts that Noonan was using, come to find out, had mislocated Howland Island by 6 miles.
That's at 6 miles. You guys, when you're at the curvature of the earth, plus the way you fly with the degrees, you're getting off every single,
if you're off by 6 miles, if that map says Howland Island is here and that's 6 miles away from where it actually is, then yes,
you got a problem.
Lost and you're finding it.
Yeah.
You have no way to navigate to the true Howland Island.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of a nail in the coffin there. At least.
Yeah.
So anyways, he says he just thinks that unfortunately what happened was they ran out of fuel and they had to ditch at sea.
Yeah.
They were never
And no
found.
one was able to find him.
No one was able to find him. So that's where Unsolved Mysteries leaves us.
Okay.
What happened to Amelia Earhart?
We still don't know, right? Is there any updates?
Update. We do not know. There is a new theory and it actually is it's got a little more bite to it.
Okay.
So I will say I read up on this, Buddy Brennan. No one is buying into his theory.
Okay. I had heard that theory before, that she had landed somewhere more in what you would consider at the time in enemy territory and was considered a spy or,
There is that theory that she was considered a spy. That theory has no teeth.
Okay.
But there is still the theory out there that she had crash landed.
Yeah.
So there's two theories. She crash landed on some type of island. The Japanese did pick her up and take her as a prisoner to Saipan.
Okay.
And possibly execute her. Unfortunately, we have no evidence of that.
Yeah.
Besides what this guy said, that no remains have ever been found. So let me pull up. This is the other theory that is out there. It's called, I got to pull it. I have no wrong notes there. It's called the Gardner Island theory.
Okay.
So they crashed, made an emergency landing on Gardner Island, now called Nicamaroa. So it's part of the Phoenix Islands. So
was it uninhabited at the time?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I remember hearing this one too.
They think that she might have spotted that island. There's a reef at low tide that she could have landed on.
Interesting.
Okay. And that her and Noonan survived for a time. And this is the evidence They state that there supposedly was radio signals coming from that island at the time. And this is evidence that comes from, it's called Tiger, the International Group of Historic Aircraft Recovery. And they've led expeditions to this island to try to find it. But a British colonel later said that he had found like settlements there during the war. He'd found some type of thing.
Where it looked like people were trying to live there of some sort.
Yeah, there was something, debris there.
Yeah.
In 1940, a British officer, Gerald Gallagher, found a partial human skeleton in a woman's shoe, a sexton box on the island. The remains were analyzed in 1941 and initially thought to be male, but they reanalyzed it and it was suggested it was a Caucasian female.
Okay.
So unfortunately, we don't have those remains anymore.
What?
Yeah. And then there was a piece of aluminum, possibly aircraft, that was found, a broken pocket knife, glass jars, and one possibly for freckle cream. I don't know. That was popular in the 30s. So, and then he found an area that he thought was a campsite, charred bird and turtle bones, suggesting humans were trying to survive there. So that is the theory. They did find
that's evidence that somebody tried to survive there, or at least at one point somebody was surviving. What the quality was, I can't tell you, but.
So unfortunately, there's no conclusive proof that it was her, but there was a skull found. There was some evidence found there that someone tried to survive there. And they think that she might have landed on that reef. Then high tide came and took that ship, took the plane and
away. Yeah,
took it into the ocean. But they do say that there is a reef that in low tide you could have landed on. So it's I think those are probably your two most possible. She landed there. She died on that island because no one came to found her.
Yeah.
And or she just died at sea. It's so vast. How are you going to find anything? So
guys, that's why ocean freaks me out, man.
Yeah. Anyways, that's it. That's all I got for you.
Okay. Well, thanks. I mean, that's interesting. I always have found Amelia Earhart's story fascinating. It's just one of those great American mysteries. All right. Are you ready to talk about drugs?
Yes.
And the FBI.
Drugs in the FBI.
And the FBI. This is back to a time with the war on drugs was a real going on. And here's the thing. We're going to be in Florida in the 80s. And everything about the reenactment is like...
I thought it was on point.
It was the cell phones, the pagers, like...
It was awesome.
The hair... Everything was awesome.
The chest hair.
The chest hair. You guys, there was chest hair for days.
The chest hair.
There was chest hair everywhere. And I'm excited to tell you guys about this story. So this is actually one of those segments again. Now, again, this is before America's Most Wanted. So every once in a while, the FBI pops on over to Unsolved Mysteries and asks to showcase something that they're working on. Yeah. And so they're here.
I'm here for it.
Okay. Colombian drug traffickers have wreaked havoc throughout Colombia during the 1980s. It was, I'll give you this, it was a brutal time.
It was a wild time.
And the United States became a hub for the cartels to sell cocaine and other drugs. And in order to combat these cartels, the FBI decides to set up a risky sting operation at an electronics store.
Whoever came up with this idea,
genius.
They deserve great credit.
Yeah.
This was so smart. Genius idea.
Yes, this was genius. The operation started in May of 1987, taking place at a electronics store called RA Communications in Miami, Florida. We're back in Miami. Should play the Will Smith song at this point, but I don't have the finances to get rights to play Welcome to Miami, but it's a good song. The company sold sophisticated, and I'm going to use the air quotes, sophisticated telephone systems and electronic devices.
This wasn't a company. This was the FBI established this company.
Everything's in air quotes right now, right?
Yeah.
Some of the new devices included cellular phones.
Car phones.
And the big gray Zach Morrison phone,
Yes.
right? And beepers, which beepers kind of came on and then left, and we've never really...
These weren't the beepers from Israel
Yeah.
that were going to blow up.
No, these were like, yeah.
They were just beepers.
Just beepers. So the manager, his name is Jay. We've got a receptionist, Sandy. They're both high-end FBI agents.
They're undercover.
They are the
agents.
top of the top agents, and they're undercover. Soon, drug traffickers start rolling into the store. And what are they looking for, Ben?
Well, they got money.
Mm-hmm.
So they got nice cars.
They do.
And they want to put a car phone in their nice cars.
But what is the main thing they're hoping to avoid with telephones?
Wiretaps.
They do not want to be wiretapped. That would be really inconvenient, right?
By the FBI.
By the FBI. So they are interested in car phones, ship-to-shore radios, airplane.
They want to talk to ships.
They want to talk
out
to the
on
boats.
The boat?
Airplane telecommunication devices. So they also want to talk to their pilots.
Why would they need to do that?
And overall, they need all of these things to be untraceable communications. I'm just going to let you guys in on a little secret. That doesn't really exist, especially at the time of the 80s.
But I bet this electronic company told them it does exist.
They do, right? So,
AKA the FBI.
Yeah. So these drug cartel guys, these drug lords, basically, it's their lucky day because RA Communications happens to have the only devices that cannot be traced or infiltrated by any sort of authority.
Of course.
Yeah. We got what you're looking for over here, boys.
It's because we already set it up for wiretaps.
Can't be tapped because it comes tapped, right? Yeah.
Don't look at that label. Yes, we know it says property of the U.S. federal government. Don't look at that.
Don't look at that. That's how we keep them from tapping us because I think we own these.
We make it look like if the government tries to tap it, they see it's like, oh, it's already ours.
No, we made that part up. But within 6 months, nearly 100% of the customers are people associated with drug trafficking. This was like a light beacon to drug traffickers. In 6 months to have almost 100% of your people coming in.
All you had to do is get one trafficker to come in and you make them all these promises. You install it. It
also goes to show that apparently these cartel members were working together or at least communicating in some way, right? Your business doing good means my business. Didn't seem to be a turf war over this.
There's enough cocaine and
there's enough cocaine to go around. Everybody's welcome, right? We're seeing the opposite of what we see in a lot of other like turf wars where it's like, don't be in my area. They were like, all are welcome in Miami.
Yeah.
So all of the major players, or at least the mass majority of major players of the drug trafficking world, start frequently in the store. FBI does another genius thing. What do they offer to these men in this position? They invite them to use their clubhouse. You guys, so not only are they selling them devices for these people to use in their personal use, they set up a back room with radios and phones and cell phones and couches and palm trees and mirrors on the wall in weird shapes. Because this is all clubhouse for VIP only customers, AKA drug traffickers, AKA it's 100% being surveyed with video and wiretaps.
Here's the best part.
And these drug lords are just hanging out in this clubhouse.
I can guarantee this is what happened.
Uh-huh.
Someone came up with this idea at the FBI field office. Like, hey, man, why don't we just put up a front electronic company and we'll install. And maybe if we can get a couple guys, drug guys, and we can install their phones, maybe it will lead us to some other things. And it was a genius idea. And then all of a sudden, all these guys said, hey, all these traffickers were like, we love this business. It's our favorite. And the FBI was probably like, oh my gosh, this just turned out 10 times better than what we were expecting. Hey, why don't we just make
They're going to come to us instead of us having to like go to them.
They're literally using their phones at their business.
At their business.
At the FBI business.
And the thing
is, to conduct business.
The FBI guys undercover are leaning into this. They act as if they tell them, like, we know what you're doing. We're going to set up these top secret, secure area. Go away, use it. Come and go as you please. I imagine there's a mini fridge in there with beverages. They are going to make this as comfortable for these men as possible. So the clubhouse is popping. But on top of that, the FBI agents they're hanging around, and these drug lords start to like become buddies with them.
It's awesome.
They freely discuss drug operations around them, amongst them, with them. They're tossing ideas off of them. They're making drug deals using these phones. Everything is being both audio and video recorded.
When shipments are coming in.
One dealer by the name of Cruz even plans on receiving 100 kilos of cocaine in early November on a boat with the boat's name, all of the information. So the FBI contacts the Coast Guard, and they seize over 800 pounds of cocaine. The next day, the drug lord, his last name is Cruz, shows up at RA Communications along with his bodyguards. This guy's high up, surprisingly unaware that the boat's been seized. So Jay, the FBI agent, is like, oh man, I'm sorry to hear about the boat and like the seizure of all your drugs. And Cruz is infuriated. But instead of putting the pieces together, he like has no clue that Jay and everyone else is responsible for this happening, continues to conduct business as usual at the clubhouse.
They play actual footage.
Yeah, you see footage of this. It's insane.
It's awesome.
So fall of 1988, one of the cartel leaders, this is where it becomes a problem, begins making romantic advances towards Sandy. She's the undercover female agent. And this sucks for her because she's a top agent. She is a professional. And in the 80s, to be an undercover FBI agent as a female, I cannot imagine how hard she had to work to prove her worth to be there.
Well, and now you have these high-end drug cartels.
Yeah.
They just assume they can get whatever
they want. So Sandy's physically, this is a problem.
Yeah.
She has potential to be in grave danger. So the FBI decides at this point, they've gotten a ton of information. They're good to go. And they decide to end operations. December 6th, 1988, they bring charges against 93 drug traffickers. All of because of this clubhouse. The FBI is able to capture every single one of the 93 people minus 2.
That's pretty good.
Jesus and Cruz slipped through the crack. See what I did there? Crack because it's like crack cocaine. Get it? I wrote that joke on my notes and was laughing out loud at myself. Okay. Their whereabouts are unknown. We're seeing pictures and they're asking for the people's help to find them. And that's where it leaves us.
All right. Update.
Cruz is later arrested. Don't have a ton of information about that. Jesus, still at large.
No, he's not.
So here's my thing. I will say something is sus because I looked and looked and looked. I looked at DEA, FBI, CIA. I looked at anywhere you could find. To this day, I cannot find a warrant or that Jesus is on any sort of FBI wanted list or has a current warrant out for his arrest. It says it on the Unsolved Mysteries website that he has a warrant out for his arrest. I cannot find documentations, his name or his photo is not on any federal agency list.
This is my theory.
And so because of that, it makes me believe that what?
My theory is that probably he went back to Colombia and got put in the ground.
Yeah.
And the government probably has a pretty good idea that that's what happened to him. But we can't say, and we're not a part of it, and it's not here. So
the only other thing I can think of is maybe he became an informant and
maybe, but
but
there would be no need for him nowadays. I think they probably got wind through the grapevine because here's the thing: we already know the DEA and they had people in Colombia. We were doing operations there.
Yeah, this was during the war on drugs, so there was an insane amount of funding available.
They probably got wind of what happened to him, and but you can't. Unfortunately, you have no proof of it, so they probably just aren't even looking for him, or they didn't even care anymore.
Yeah,
move on. And it was the 80s. Once these guys are out of the picture, all new guys are in the picture. So you're worried about the people.
Cocaine is still a problem. Maybe not as much as it was in the 80s, just because here's the thing. I don't know a lot of people that are like into the world of cocaine in my tiny little community here in Arizona, but it seemed to have been a really big popular drug in the 80s and 90s. I don't know if the demand is still there as much, but yeah, there's still drug lords selling. Cocaine is still coming into the country from Colombia. So yeah, you arrested 90-something people.
They just got replaced.
They just got replaced.
In the next 2-3 months.
Absolutely.
And that doesn't mean, that's not to discount what they did. That's awesome. I think it's great that they grabbed all those guys, you know?
No, I thought I just thought the story was fascinating. So
I thought it was cool. A great operation. And hey,
there you go. So that's it, guys. That's season 3, episode 8. If you'd like to stick around, now is the part of our podcast where I ask Ben a silly question, and normally he doesn't have an answer away.
I've had an answer the last couple of weeks.
That's because I'm calling you on the carpet.
Yeah, you keep trying to call me out.
Okay.
Why you gotta be like that? So
I thought of this the other day because I remembered something. Have you ever failed miserably?
Yes.
At trying to cook a food or like a meal of some sort, and just like had everything go wrong and it just all fall apart and all of that work goes to nothing? If so, what were you trying to cook?
I mean, yeah, I have definitely failed at cooking a meal. I failed a lot. What was last year or the year before? You were in school, right? You were taking classes.
Oh yeah, I started going back to school before. So that was actually a couple of years ago. Yeah, so you were super busy, working full time, no podcast yet, and was taking night classes online, and they were hours long where you had to like be in front of your screen. Yeah. So
I took on some of the dinners, and let's just make this very clear. Okay. Sierra is an amazing mother and wife where she cooks for us as a family at least 5 to 6 nights a week.
And I enjoy
happily.
it. I was mourning the loss of cooking when I went to school because that's when I listened to a lot of my podcasts.
So I have been a very spoiled husband in the fact of I get a home cooked meal where I practically do almost zero. I literally just show up. You do the dishes afterwards. Yes, I do. It is you do that. So it is my responsibility. I clean the kitchen when you're done at the end of the night. So, but I had to take on some of the responsibilities happily to cook some dinners. And here's the thing. Sierra is such a good cook. She would send me the recipes because she would still, obviously, she's amazing. She would still do the grocery shopping and say, these are the meals I have planned. Well, I'm not a good cook. And Sierra just looks at a recipe and knows it. And then if she didn't have some things, she just knew how to substitute or what to do. Well, sure. I like to, you at the time, you're like, I didn't realize how much you church up a recipe. Yeah. I would church it up. And I can't remember. I was trying to make like this gravy of some sort to put on, and I think it was haystacks. I botched it so bad because, and I'm having to read it. And a lot of times it's like, we'll cook this for a minute, then add this. But by the time I read and knew what I was supposed to do, it had been 5 minutes. I was a mess.
Mm-hmm.
And what would take you 20 minutes, it was taking me an hour. And I was a hot mess trying to get dinner. And there was, I think, one or two of them
that an hour had gone and it was so
bad.
done. Yeah.
There was one where I wish I could remember exactly what it was, but we sat down to eat it, me and the kids, and we took some bites. And I looked at them and they're just trying to be nice to me about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you guys don't have to eat it if you want cereal. Like, okay, thanks. And they put it aside and just got a bowl of cereal. So I did not do it. But sorry, I'm going to go long. My other one, funny story. I didn't botch the meal, but was when we were dating.
I wondered if you were going to bring this story up. Yeah.
So we were dating. We might have been engaged.
Maybe.
At the time.
You had the key to my apartment, so.
We were engaged at the time. I went to your apartment. You were working late and I was going to make you dinner. I made you tacos.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't botch the meal. I made it right. But I was in your apartment doing it. Sierra had a cat and that was the love of her life. His name was Ramsey.
Ramsey, he was my first hairless cat. And he, like, him and I went through a breakup together and, like, living alone for the first time together. Yeah, he was the love of my life at the time.
So I made you dinner. And as I'm getting done with dinner, getting it ready, I'm picking you up from work.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking for your cat. I cannot find him.
Mm-hmm.
I searched your apartment. It wasn't big.
And Ramsey liked to try to dart out the back door.
Yes, he wanted to go outside all the time. And I had gone out to the back, out the sliding glass door at one point.
That apartment was incredible. We had 2 sliding glass doors onto the porch and we were on the bottom floor, which now as even more true crime fanatic, I'm like, as a female, I lived alone with humongous windows looking into my apartment on the bottom floor. But behind it was a wildlife preserve that had a pond. And what were those things that lived in it?
I don't know.
They're like giant rodents, newts, something. Anyways, it was an amazing thing. But yeah, Ramsey liked to try to bolt out there because he liked to sit on the back patio and like watch the birds and all of that stuff. But Ben did this as a surprise. I don't think you had ever been like just alone in my apartment hanging out. So he didn't know the ins and outs of the rules of like the cat. But
so I'm looking for him. I can't find him. I searched the place high and low. Can't find him. And I'm looking outside. I'm looking in this wildlife. I cannot find him.
Ben's climbed the fence and is looking in the wildlife preserve.
In mud looking for this cat. And I'm thinking he's run away. He's probably pissed that I was in this apartment and his girlfriend, Sierra, is gone. So I pick her up from work. And the first thing you get in the truck and I say, okay, I totally understand. What did I say?
If you never want to talk to me again, and this is the end of our relationship, I totally understand.
I totally understand.
But I can't find your cat.
But I think I lost your cat. So we get that back. And
did I freak out?
What was, no, you didn't.
No, I did not. Because I
did not get angry at me.
No,
You're like, no.
I was like, here's the thing. I knew exactly where he probably was because he's a butthead.
So, and I have been calling him. I've been shaking treats.
He's not going to listen to you.
No.
He didn't like you.
So we went back and what was supposed to be like this nice evening where I cooked you dinner.
Because I love surprises. And I'll say, in all honesty, my entire life, I've not had a lot of like people ever like go out of their way. I've never had a surprise party, nothing. And so Ben like tried, and I worked at front desk at a hotel. I worked until like midnight, till the midnight, like overnight laundry guy came in. And so I worked late and I was, this was a huge romantic, like kind gesture.
So we get back. And I was me. Mm-hmm. I'm looking for we eat dinner.
Yeah, I was like, he'll show up. He didn't go far.
I go to put dinner away and open the cupboard. Mm-hmm. And there he is, curled up in a pot.
Yeah, sound asleep. Happy as can be.
In a pot. I was so mad. But anyways, those are my 2 very long stories. Sorry. All right. What about you?
The biggest one that I can remember, and I don't know why this even sticks around so much. We were first married, living at that tiny little, we'd moved out of the nice apartment into a very low priced apartment because we were broke married college students. And I got in my mind the same thing that like we were going to school and like working. You were going to school and working full time. Late that I wanted to make a roast dinner, like a Sunday roast with like, because your grandpa had a certain way of like, he didn't like mashed potatoes. So like I learned this from Ben's family that he liked these egg noodles cooked in like the bone broth, like.
And the roast drippings.
And the roast drippings and carrots and celery and all of this stuff. And so I like went to like the fancy grocery store and bought like a smaller roast because it was just me and you and all the stuff for it. Gone home, spent all afternoon cooking this. And we didn't have a crock pot at the time or a pressure cooker. So the only way to cook a roast at that point was like 8 hours in the oven. And I spent all day cooking that thing, like cleaning and cooking and doing all of this stuff. And I was so excited. So you get home, the house smells amazing. Like there's no indication at any point that this is not going to turn out how I want it to. And I pull the roast out and it is like shrank down. And I was like, I don't think that's how it's supposed to look, but here we go. And then like I start trying to cut it and it's just like leather. It's like I'm cutting up like a piece of a shoe or something. It was not this like our whole lives growing up. Like our moms had both cooked roast and my grandma cooked roast all the time when she made tamales. It like falls apart. And this is not falling apart. And I think, bless your heart, like both you and I like tried to eat it and you're like, thanks, babe. And you're trying. And I was like, I think I said the same thing. Like, can we just order pizza and like chalk this up as a loss? Yeah, something and got it delivered or went and picked it up. And we just both kind of laughed. But that was like one of the first big meals I tried to make us as like we had been married only maybe a few weeks because we didn't live in that apartment for crazy long.
And that kitchen was tiny.
Tiny. Yeah. Yeah, we didn't even have like a real dining room. Like our tiny little table was in there and I made the table and I was so excited for this like domestic wife moment I was having because both you and I worked full time. Like we're going to school. Like we were never home.
Yeah.
And I had this random free day and I spent the whole day doing it. And I was like, this is my first thing is like this wife moment. And I failed it miserably. And we both laughed and moved on.
Yeah.
But yeah, now I make dinner several nights a week and I love it.
Amazing cook.
Yeah. And I've always been a decent cook. So that was like, it'd been a long time since I had failed a meal that bad. And it just happened to be like one that was important to me. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that is everything we got for you. So we will be back next week for our 1 year anniversary where we won't be recapping your original gateway drug into true crime, but we'll be recapping what, Ben?
Different story.
Amy Bradley.
Amy Bradley.
All right. Bye.